The engine is starting up. 3, 2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us?
Putting a dip in your hip, a glide in your stride. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is Rift Nation Network, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
Sensitive/offensive content disclaimer. Please note that this podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. Come on in. Happy Wednesday. We're almost to Friday. You are listening to Mysteries Beyond the Scenes with your host, Joni Skinner. We are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. We are a true crime format. However, tonight with astrology, as you all know, with forensic astrology. However, tonight I am going to bring a super special guest on. She is a phenomenal numerologist. The best I know. Because of the fact the astrology this year, I've never seen anything like it on a personal and mundane level. Mundane is the astrology of countries. It's the astrology of events. So I thought it would be really a good idea to bring Sue on to explain to us what the numerology is telling us, because today is the day of the year of the snake. And what better than to get Sue to explain to us what those numbers look like in comparison to what it looks like for the world. So without further ado, welcome to Mysteries, Sue Nadeau. Nadeau, right?
Yes.
Oh, I don't, that's Kentucky. That's Appalachian.
Yes.
How do you pronounce? Sue is from Canada, everybody. So it's French, correct?
Yes. The Nadeau.
Nado. Oh, see, in Kentucky, we'd say nado.
Yeah, I usually say Nadu. It's easier to spell than when you tell somebody it's Nado.
Nado.
Doesn't matter, I don't think, either way.
Nado. Nado is prettier.
Yeah.
That's much prettier than nado. So Sue is a numerologist, astrologist. She combines both. But I think 2025, as far as the numbers are concerned, Sue, um, just if you want to start to get into that a little, or just tell people what numerology is and how people use it, just if somebody's not familiar with numerology.
Well, numerology is connected to everything. They have numbers for everything. They have colors. They have planets. It's in the Bible. And when you do numerology, we do it with your name and your birth date. And there's all kinds of cycles, and it's just all math. Once you get the meanings of the numbers, and it's math and connecting everything together. And it goes with astrology. That's how I got into astrology, was from numerology, because I realized there was 12 houses. And then that's how I started figuring out astrology. And then afterwards, I found out that planets have numbers. And, music is all numbers. So it just goes on and on and on.
When people say, "Oh, I saw number 22," like 1 week I saw the number 22 everywhere I looked. Like it was in my car. It was like on signs in the bank. It was like a license plate in front of me. Does that mean anything to a numerologist?
There's all the master numbers are 22, 33. And then when people say, they keep seeing numbers the same. It's like the universe is telling you that you're on the right path because you're recognizing something repeatedly. And then those numbers all mean something, but the 22 for you would mean something different for someone else, right?
Yeah.
So 22 is a master number, and it is the master builder and a master healer. And those people can build upon their dreams. So they will build and work and build and work and line everything up and work and build until they get where they want.
So how many master numbers are there?
Well, there's, the way I understand it, there's 3, but some people keep going, right? Like 22, 33, 44, 55, 66. But I only do 11, 22, and 33.
So master numbers to you are 11, 22, and 33.
Yeah. So if you have a 11, they're very inspiring people. And like if you're born on the 11th or November, it's like 2 ones, and one's connected to the sun. So there's 2 suns with these people. And so that's how bright they are. And it's like they can snap. It's like fireworks. When they're thinking, they can give you great ideas if you're 11. And they can bring people together because 2 ones, it's like looking into a mirror, right? So they can give you ideas because it's 1 and 1 going back and forth and back and forth. But they have like higher thoughts than what you're thinking. And it's like, oh, I don't know what color I'm going to paint my room. And they'll go, oh, I seen a really nice green the other day. So they paint the room. Oh, that's what I'm going to paint my room green. So they give you good ideas, and they're leaders when they're 1. So the 22 builds on the 11. So 22, if you have an idea, the 22 can build until it gets where it wants to go. They can make things happen. And the 33, so and another way to look at it, 11 are like home care people, 22 are like nurses, and doctors are 33. And the 33 are the healers. But I think the 22 and 11 They're all healers. I think all the numbers can be a healer, but it's like double dose when you got the double numbers. So the 33 is very creative. They can talk, and 3 and 3 is 6. So they like to take care. When you've got a number 6, you're like the caretaker, and you can communicate, and you're very creative. And 3 is the number of Jupiter, and 6 is the number of Venus. So there's,
So-
that's why they say that 33 make good doctors.
So are the 11 people, 22 people, and 33 people, are those common? Does everybody total up to one of those numbers, or are there different, like,
No.
so the scale goes from like what, 1 to,
Well, one of the main things, how they work the numbers, it's the day you're born, right? So you got 31 days, mostly in a month. So you go like that, but 31 would be counted as a 4 because the numbers only go to the single digits 1 to 9.
okay, so it goes 1 to 9.
Yeah, so you only get 11 once a month, and November once a year. So, it's not, and there's no 22 month. So 22 only comes once a month, so only 12 times a year. And
So
then
22s aren't that, so 22 isn't that common.
No, so out of 365 days, you've only got 12 22s, right, in a year.
Okay.
But then what else they do for the numbers is they add up your name. So your name could add up to a 22 also. But the main thing, they go by the day. So you go by your month and your day and your year. So the day number out of 365 days in a year, you pick that day to be born.
That's so interesting. That is so, I mean, that it's endless with numbers, isn't it? It's kind of like astrology. It's
Yes.
endless.
Yes, it goes on and on. Like with astrology, I didn't know about the asteroids or the fixed stars, all that kind of stuff. It's like, oh my God, there's a whole other layer. And that's like the numbers. They just keep going and going and going. Like there's so many things you can do with them.
It's fascinating. So we're going to take a look. Hello, chat. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I hope everybody's doing well. We are going to take a look at 2025, and I found a very interesting date that Sue and I looked at and I'll tell you why I picked it. And what's odd is it matched the planets for 25 and 26, the day that I picked us to look at in upcoming date. So that's kind of weird, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think it's kind of weird?
Yes.
It's a little weird. So the astrology, and here we go. I put this up here just to give you a little input about the astrology, is biblical in 2025. Astrologers are seeing planetary movement that's never been seen in recorded history before. And the astrologers are going back to like 3000 BC, still not finding some of the things that the planets are going to do this year that's never been seen. So we don't know. It's a guess. It's like a crapshoot. It's a complete crapshoot for some of those things, but they're all extremely positive. The outer planets are trining, which is very favorable, and they're sextiling. Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. There's a lot going on for 2025 astrologically, but tonight we're going to concentrate more on the numbers. So today is the year of the snake. So welcome, Miss Sue. I love that. It's simple math, isn't it, Sue?
Yes.
This to me looks like the astrology for 2025. It's going to be crazy.
Yes,
Like,
we're going around the bend too with the numbers.
Are we going around the bend with the numbers too? Okay, so here is Sue's information. I'll let Sue explain to us about 2025 and what her numbers mean.
Okay, for 2025, it adds up. That's how you do your adding for the numbers. And if you get a double digit, you always go down till you get one number. Now, with the double digits, like the master numbers, you still add them up, but once you get going with it, you know that you have a master number, but I'm not doing any of that here. I don't think there is any with the dates that we have anyway. So anyway, this is just simple tonight. So that's how you add them up. You keep going till you get a single digit. Now, so we're in the 2000s. So we're going to cut it down to 25, the last two. And in some numerology classes, they teach that the year you're born, the last two digits are your gift. And the gift number is what comes easy for you, right? So anyway, we're going to work. I put the 25 in there just to show you because it goes with the 7 and all that. And I put Trump in because I know you like Trump. And his name adds up to 25-7.
I get the biggest kick out of his chart because of Regulus on the ascendant, Leo ascendant, Leo rising, Sag moon, Gemini sun. He cannot be quiet. Duct tape could not. I bet he would talk with duct tape on his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I get the biggest kick out of it because, people get offended by a lot of the stuff he says, but when you look at his natal chart with Regulus sitting right there on that ascendant, and it's a Leo ascendant, and you've got a Sag moon and a sun that is Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
You just see why he talks.
And
it can't stop. He cannot stop talking.
No, you kind of get that idea after a
No.
while.
All you got to do is look at the chart. That's why I get a big kick out of it. I laugh because it's all in the natal chart. It's all
And the
there.
color red is what color they have for 9. So the color for this year in numerology is red.
Okay.
That's supposed to be, but the color red, when you look at colors, that's kind of an aggressive color too. So that you don't want to use too much of it, really, if you're into colors and all that kind of stuff, right?
So you don't want to use too much red this year.
No, you can. I'm not saying you can't, but you know what I mean? When they do for kids and that, you're not supposed to, red color makes them more hyper and all that. It's an active color, red.
Yeah. I'm tired all the time. I should wear red all the time.
Yes. Or even red undergarments.
Really?
Yes, I've read that before. Or red earrings and red undergarments or red socks.
Red shoes.
Yes, anything red gives you that energy, that color from the color.
Wizard of Oz shoes. So
Yeah.
that's 2025. So what does that tell us? What does number 9? What does number 9 mean?
Okay, number 9 holds all the numbers. So it's a year of letting go, and it's letting go the past 8 years that we've went through. Okay, so the numbers go from 1 to 9, and then they start back at 1 again. So we're at the bookends between 9 and 1. So 1 is the beginning, 9 is letting go. So we're in a year of letting go. So the 9 faces all the other numbers. So it holds all the other numbers before it turns the other way. So it has the wisdom. It's the number of the hermit. It has compassion. It's telling us to let go. And you let go with compassion and understanding because you have all the other numbers there that we've learned from in the past 9 years. So we're getting ready to go into a new cycle.
And that's the astrology.
Yep.
you know,
Yeah, so
Just
9
got
is
out
the
of-
number of letting go. So
Wow.
this 27, now see how we had the 2025 and I said the last two numbers,
yes.
they do that. That's why I put the 25 in, because it's almost like it's hidden in plain sight, right? There's 25/7, but 7 is the color purple and the planet Neptune.
Wow.
And Neptune is Lala, right? The
Yeah.
music and all that softer stuff.
Spirituality.
And so that is hidden in this number 9. 9 is the FBI, and 9 is patience. And as 1 is a strong number because it's the first number, right? And there's nobody in front of it.
Right.
1 is the leader. 7 is as strong as a 1, but it's inner strength. That's why it's softer, and I think it's ruled by Neptune because you can't see it. So that makes sense, right?
It does.
So the
Yeah, it
word-
does.
So puzzle adds up to 7, listen adds up to 7, and there's lots of other words, but I was just putting those down for an example. 7 is faith. If you keep seeing the number 7, it's faith and it's spirituality. And you know, when I couldn't find the right number, but you know, when you see the 7 and it's got that little tick in the middle of it, that's why they used to have that 7 like that, is because they called it the spiritual work cross, because the 7 and 9 are the spiritual work crosses.
Interesting.
Okay, so the 7 is always like a 1, but it's inside. We don't show that. And it is the Neptune. So it's the softer. So you think of Mars and then you think of Neptune. And that's what 2025 is. We're not showing our Neptune, but our Mars is all out. Like, we've got to let go of this and we got to move on. Everybody's tired of it all.
Yeah, that's true. That's the truth. Okay, and then the year of the snake.
Okay, so the snake, look at the vowel A is right in the middle. And the KE, it's ending too with the 14/5, and it comes out to Mercury. So the 25 is the change may come through partnerships. So that's Mercury.
Interesting.
Okay, so the numbers are telling us Mars and Neptune, and the snake is telling us Mercury. Now I got a story.
Okay, what's our story?
Okay, so how they tell about the Chinese, there's always like the race, and now it's the winter time, and the snake is starting to wake up. The snake year only comes around every 12 years. Okay. So we're going to have the snake year hasn't been here for 12 years. So it's starting to wake up. And when it first wakes up, it meets up. So it's just waking up now, right?
Okay.
And it meets up with a rabbit. That was one of the 12 animals, right? There's 12 animals, like we have 12 zodiac signs.
Okay.
So first it's just waking up now, and it's seeing this rabbit. And what they have in common is they both go underground. So if you have a snake person and a person that's born in a rabbit year, their year will be okay because they're friends with the rabbit, right? They have common ground with the rabbit. So they spend time, and we're in February. In March, the snake hasn't come out yet. And what they say too, for the season, the changing of the season, internal conflict comes when you feel like you're being pushed into a season. Wintertime is time to reflect, relax, pause, and hibernate. So the snake year isn't ready to get going yet.
Oh,
right? So we're in
keep the
February.
snake underground. Keep it under. I hate snakes.
No, they're all right. You know, the snake, it's patient and it kind of minds its own business. It doesn't come after you
Yeah.
unless you provoke it, right? So the
Yeah, that's
snake and the
true.
bunny, they're getting ready to talk. And they're not coming out yet because it's not springtime, which we don't think of it that way, right? But that's
Right.
true when it comes out. And so then when it comes to April, the dragon shows up. And
Uh-oh.
the dragon is kind of magical. And the dragon and the snake get along because the dragon is like the magician. It's out in the open, and the snake likes to sit back like the rabbit. It's quiet. So we're going to have to April. It's going to be all right because this bunny and this dragon gets along with the snake, and it's a snake year. And then when we come to May, May is when all the energy is going to start happening. And that's when we're going to be in the time when things start not to get moving. Things will already be moving, but the snake will come alive,
Uh-oh.
right? So, but that's not a bad thing.
It's not. What does he do when he comes to life?
Well, it'll have that 9. What does the snake do? It sheds its skin, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
the snake is beginning to work through the energy come 9. So by then we'll be getting through these planets, right? The transits.
No.
And the
It's all
snake
year.
and the number 9, we're going to learn how to let go and transform. So by the time May comes around, we're going to know what we're doing because right now it's kind of quiet. Things haven't got going yet.
Oh, it's
then
it's
we'll
about
be
to
in-
hit. It's going to hit in March.
Yeah. And then May, we're going to be in a 5-month in numerology. And a 5-month is at the crossroads. So things are going to pick up
Jeez.
and get going. Then by the time September comes, we're going to be at that letting go. So you know how I said how the 9 years, like we're tired of it and it's time to move on?
Yeah.
We're just getting started now. That snake's just starting to wake up. We're going to go till May, and then we're going to work through this, and come September, we're going to be at the turning point because we're going to have a 9-month and a 9-day and a 9-year, and that's almost like a portal. There'll be 3 9s in September.
Oh, crap.
And that snake, it's going to see by then, and it's going to want to shed its skin. And the snake is a sign of healing.
Oh, okay.
And there's a story about that, but I'm not going to tell it now. It's a long one. But anyway, you know how too the doctors have that snake,
Yeah.
right? The snake is the healing, the sign of healing. And wounding is in the cycle of healing. It offers us to let go with compassion and understanding, to lead ourselves, to heal ourselves, and shed our skins. So by the end of this year, starting September, by the time we get to September, we're going to be ready to move on, right?
Cool.
There's somehow whatever's going on this year, we're going to move on from the last 9 years, right? And things are going to
Okay.
start to turn, right? Because all the signs are there between the numbers and the snake and reality, like, you know,
The
last year was
astrology
the
too.
reality.
The
Last year
astrology.
was the 8, or
Yeah.
last year was the 8 year. That was reality and our power and strength. And now this year it's like, okay, we got it. We're moving on, but we got to shed our old skin, and then it'll be a whole another 9 years. We're starting the new cycle. We're right on the corner. We're just going around the bend. And when we get around the bend, we're going to see the sunshine.
Isn't that something? That's that's close to the astrology too.
Yeah.
I mean, the astrology is I don't like to use the word biblical, but I don't know any other word to use. Epic. I don't know the word to describe what's coming. And I
Yeah.
don't want to scare people because I don't like fear. I'm not a fear, but this is really seems positive.
Oh, yes. It's like, yeah, just think of it. Like it
Yeah.
is time to move on. Like people
It-
are tired of everything. And now, like down in the States there, you have Trump back in and he's going to change it. Just look at what he's changed already.
oh,
Like
it,
it's
it's
already started.
it
But with
has it's
China,
moving at speeds. Here's the thing. It's moving at speeds down here, but we have to remember we are getting out of earth and water here, moving into air and fire. And that's the collective, that's the world. So
yeah,
right now, all year, we're moving into fire. We have, and that's a 26,000 year cycle.
yeah,
So it's moving so fast, you can't keep up with it.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
There's
it's
big
showing in the
change.
numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what else we got. Oh, okay, okay, so moving on to 2026.
Okay, so when we get to September, that 999 starts, right? The 9th month, the 9th day, the 9 year. And then we get to October. October will be a 1 month, and 2026 is a 1 year. So we're at the bookends. And when you see words for one is the leader. But it takes a 2 year transition because you're letting go, but you're gathering for your next 9 years, right? It's like we're trying to get rid of that 9 years and we're starting a whole new path. So you can be ambitious, you have ideas, you begin. Those are all words that add up to one. And the color is yellow. So you can almost see how you're going from red to yellow, and that purple's hiding behind. So by the time September comes, it's almost like you can see the sun coming. It's like springtime when the sun starts shining all day long.
That's neat.
Yeah. So that'll be the transformation after September and October. It'll be November and December, and then we'll feel that one universal year start coming in.
So
And that's all next year.
2026 as a one is going to be just phenomenal.
Yeah.
See, with the astrology, all of the outer planets are moving. Usually one outer planet moves a year, one, and it shakes up everything. We have five.
Yeah.
We have five. So you got to remember when they shift, not only do they shift energy, but they're shifting who they're talking to.
Yes.
All of the planets from 2025 to 2030 are in such amazing alignment. The outers, which is the world. It's the collective. It's the world. More so than the personal planets of Mercury, Jupiter, or Mercury, Venus, and Mars. So whatever this transformation is going to be by the end of the year, leading up to 2030, it's going to be a world that we don't even know. And that's what the numbers are showing, a new cycle.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's starting now already, how everything has changed.
Well, we've got Neptune. When Neptune and Saturn move into Aries, and that starts in March, people are going to, if they don't understand the energy and what's happening to them, people are going to lose their stuff. I mean, because we're going from almost a sleeping beauty slumber to a red, like you said, red. That's Saturn and Saturn in Aries and Neptune in Aries going into red. That's going from 0 miles an hour to 1,000.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can feel it coming. Time is moving so fast right now. Everything's quick, and you got to keep up with it, or you get lost. You get lost in it.
And it's the same with the eclipse season as well. It's hard to describe. Okay, so what's this chart telling us?
Okay, so that's the 9 for this year, and that's the 2026. So Mars is red, and when we get around that corner after September, October, that's when the sun's going to start shining. It's almost like springtime when we see that sun, and that'll be for a whole year that we start over. So from 1 to 9, that's the past 9 years. That's what we've already went through. That 9 is holding all that information and all those numbers, and that's all the lessons that we've learned the past 9 years. And now it's facing the past, that 9. And when it turns and faces the future, it's going to run into that 1, and then it's going to start going another path again for 9 years. So see how it's well, it's not on the picture, but you know, you know what I mean? You know that it's like a door that 9 is facing, and it's going to turn like a revolving door, and it's going to turn around and face the future, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 again, and that'll be our next 9-year cycle. So that's the end of a 9-year cycle. We're just through it now. And that 9 and the snake is telling us to let go, shed our skin, and move on, because there's a new cycle coming up, a new 9-year cycle.
See, that's great. That's what the astrology shows.
Yeah.
And the 9-year cycle is a good cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a good cycle. Okay, we'll go. Okay, so what Sue and I did, because Sue uses tarot cards, tarot with numerology. So I put the astrology with it to see what we would come up with. Now, I made a typo. I made a mistake on March 4th. It should be 1789, not 1879. 1789. And then March 4th, 2025. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind the planets that Sue just showed us of Mars and the sun, because we just noticed this. Because why did I pick March 4th? Well, it was funny, and when you do mundane astrology, which is you study events, you study the history of, you can go back into biblical times. You can go back to BC. You know, I've tried to make up Jesus Christ's birth chart. I've tried to guess and make his birth chart up. You can go back as far as you can, because luckily astrology was one of the first forms of divination on the planet. So it's well recorded. Everything is recorded in astrology. That's why we can go back and look it up. Well, what happened back then? And then astrology is all patterns. It's all patterns. So it hit me the other day, and I heard it on, I don't even know where I heard it, but they said on March 4th, 2025, Trump is going to address Congress. It's not a State of the Union. Well, for our Canadian friends, that's unusual. I don't know why March 4th struck something with me. I thought, why does that date, it kept coming back to me. And usually I hear something like that and I blow it off. So I thought, what happened on March 4th back into history? Well, back on March the 4th, 1789, that's when the United States, you know, we have the Constitution, which our forefathers wrote, and it's the law of our land. It's what the Supreme Court uses to, determine the laws that we live by here. So March 4th, 1789 was the first time that Congress met as a Congress in New York, and the first time that the government started to operate under a republic. We are not a democracy here. We're not a democracy. By history, we are what is called a constitutional republic, because the Constitution is the law of the land. We are not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic. That's when it began, March 4th, 1789. So I thought, well, that's funny. But he's addressing Congress March 4th, 2025. So I'm going to look at both, I'm going to look at this. So Sue pulled the numerology and the tarot cards. So what do the tarot cards tell us about those two dates, the numerology?
It's my turn.
Yeah. I'm just yapping away.
The
That's
3,
interesting though, isn't it?
the 3 and the 4. So March is a 3, and that's the Empress, and that's ruled by Jupiter. And 4 is the Father, right? And that's ruled by Mars, and that comes up to a 7, and that's hidden in plain sight in 2025, right? And 9 and 7,
Yeah.
16. So that was the other one, 16, 17. Okay, so we have them for both days. So that's the Mother and the Father. And then they come up to Temperance. So 1789, it's like mixing oil and water together, but it's like being grounded also, right? And there's protection there with the angel. But for 2025, it's going to change everything. But in both pictures, there's movement going on. The top one, it's moving, and the bottom one is moving. So we'll have to see what happens. The 1789 comes out to the Pope in number 5, and that's Mercury. So they'll be back then. Well, that's probably with religion and all that too, right?
Sure.
Back in the past. And then the bottom, 2025, when we make this change, there's going to be the Chariot, and we're moving forward. So see what the difference is between the 1789. There was rules and obligations with that Pope up at the top, the number 5. On the bottom for 2025, it's a Chariot. So we've got everything. We're going to go through destruction, or you are for the USA, that date you give me, March 4th, 2025, when Trump does all that.
Yeah.
It's going to make a big change, but you're going to move forward. You don't know where you're going, how you're getting there, but you're on the move. You're going to be on the move. Where in the past, the 1789, that was, I think, I don't know anything about it. I'm not into history and that, but that was probably when the church and everything,
It was.
politics ruled everything, where now it's different. That's not going to be the way it is this time when it happens.
Well, and we just went through the Tower card represents Pluto, and the United States is just now coming out of the Pluto return, which is a complete collapse of establishment and structures.
How long did that last?
Oh God, it's been 2008.
When it started?
Yeah, Pluto went into Capricorn in 2008, and we had the banking crisis, and the whole everything collapsed. The housing thing collapsed. And it was in the house of money in the U.S. chart, but it was in Capricorn, which is the government.
And you know what else is hidden in plain sight?
What?
It's moving forward. That's 7. Isn't the Chariot a 7? I can't
Yes.
see. Right?
Yeah, Chariot's a 7.
And that's the 25 on 2025.
That's crazy.
That purple and the number 7 and the spiritual work cross. And see how it just keeps going, like the numbers, and it's how they add up.
And the Hierophant is a 5.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So I think the Tower is Pluto. It's always Pluto. It collapses everything. It will collapse to rebuild.
Yeah.
If the structure is not, if it's sound, nothing happens. England went through a lot of Pluto returns where everything was cool because there was nothing needed to be done. They were doing okay. They were just humming along. They were doing great. I guess it was the monarchy, and they were doing great.
Oh,
We were at a total collapse. So when we look at the astrology, the transits of March 4th, 2025, right up in the 8th house, which would be the Tower card or transformation. And that's what Pluto rules that house. Mars and the Sun are conjunct on March the 4th. I think that's pretty amazing. Don't you?
yes.
So what you said so the Mars coming in 2025 hits the Sun in 2026. So the astrology matches right up with the numerology that matched up with the tarot.
Yeah. Oh, that's neat. Yeah.
That's beyond neat. But in the United States chart, if you look at the big purple circle that I did, Pluto has just now started to transit in the house of communications, media. So that's where it is now.
Yeah.
And it's collapsing, all of the all of the shows that were media are gone. They're collapsing. The people are quitting, they're getting fired, it's in complete chaos. But that's what Pluto does. Pluto destroys what isn't working. So and then we're going to see Neptune in red. Oh, look at that. I circled Neptune in red and I used purple and red. I didn't even know that. But you've got right now, you said it was healing. The United States is in the Chiron return. It's in its Chiron return. That goes on for about 6 years, 5, 6 years, and it's healing. And that's what you said, talked about the healing. But in the United States chart, Saturn and Neptune move into the 5th house in Aries, which is explosive. That's just going to just speed up even more. But in the US chart this year, Jupiter moves up into that Cancer stellium up in the 8th house of transformation, which is abundance, blessings. It's phenomenal that Jupiter is hitting that stellium. That's a 12-year cycle.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, so that hits that side, and that's about it for the U.S. chart. When Jupiter hits in June, like you said, what did you say by September?
Yeah, May is the crossroads, and then September is a 9, and October is a 1 month, and then that's when the change happens. But when you're in May, the crossroad, that's when things change too.
Well, and that will be Jupiter all at such a strong degree getting ready to ingress into the 8th house of transformation with its abundance. Will be May.
Well,
Because it's like you say, the energies don't hit overnight. We're already starting to feel Neptune and Aries now. And it moves.
Yes.
You can feel the pace.
Yeah, and even how they tell about the snake. The snake year just started, and he don't get going till April or May. Right? He's still hibernating. He's not out of hibernation yet. So that's not going to come till April or May. And then we're going to feel the snake coming through. And the snake feels everything too, because it crawls on the ground. So it's very grounded. So they're very intuitive and thinks about things and feels everything. And we're going to feel it all this year.
It's going to be crazy. But I think that the transformation is super positive.
Oh, I do too, especially going into a 1 year. It's like you wipe the slate clean and start over.
That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, because you take 9 numbers and put them on a blackboard, and when you come to the 1, you wipe it all off and you put a 1 and you start over.
That's good news.
Yep.
See, Neptune will be going into Uranus will be going into the 7th house in the United States chart in Gemini, Aries or Neptune in Aries. They will be sextiling. Then on the other side, sextiling Pluto, and then there's going to be trines going on. It's going to be fun. I think coming out of the Pluto return, and now we're in the age in Aquarius. It's full speed ahead.
Yeah.
I don't see anything. Well, like you say, around May, but that's going to be bumpy when all these shift.
Oh,
When
yeah.
all these planets are shifting until they calm down a little.
Yeah. I too. People don't, if you don't understand the energy, they don't know what's going on. It's like the new moon and the full moon, right? There's something going on, but you don't know what it is, and this and that, and everything's got to get settled again.
Right.
Especially those big planets, right? They don't move that often.
No, they don't move at all. You're talking about cycles of 13 years, 20 years, 8 years, 3 years, and 3 years, 3.5 years, 18 months, 25 years.
Even if you did something for 5 years, you can't get used to change, right? So it's going to be like these whole planets. We've never lived with these planets and the way that they're going to set up.
No, we have not.
Differently, aren't they?
They're going to, well, yes, they are, because we are leaving, like I said, earth and water, which is very slow. It's grounded. And we're going into air and fire.
Yeah.
So it's very, very fast.
Yeah.
And if you shut your eyes or lose track, you're lost, because things are starting to pick up now. You can just feel the movement.
Oh, yeah. It's so different now. It really is. Time's going faster. You move faster. You got to keep up. And it's like you're trying to keep up to something and you don't know what it is. It's like, what is going on?
It's like a hamster on his wheel.
Yes.
Like a gerbil and a gerbil spinning around in his wheel.
Yeah.
That's the year. Well, does the chat, they're listening intently. Do you guys have any questions for Sue regarding numbers, or like anything else, Sue, you want to add about astrology and numbers and what else is going on?
The ones in the chat, for anybody, if you take your month and your day and you add it together and it comes through to a 9, you're going to be in a 9-year this year also. Not just 2025 for the world. You personally will be in a 9-year, because we're all in different years also, right? You know how the 9 is the big umbrella, and then we're all underneath in different years, and then we're in different months. So if you add your month and your day together, and keep adding until you get one number.
So wait, you take your month and you write that out, right?
And your day.
Okay.
So if you have, say, January's a 1, and if you have a number that comes up to 23, put the 2 and 3 together, and that'll be a 5. So that's not going to work with the 9, because 9 and 5 is going to be 14. You're going to be in a 5-year. So that month and day has to add up to a 9. And then you'll be in a 9-year. You're in a year of letting go also. So you're like in a double 9.
What is that? What's a number 6?
And number 6 is the year of the caretaker. It's like you're going to be taking care of people, pets. It's like 6 is ruled by Venus, but you take care of everybody. in your friends and your family, you might have one person that you need to take care of more. And C9 is like a humanitarian when you do for your personalities and that. 9's the humanitarian and 6 is the caretaker. So the 6 looks after their close circle, where the 9 tries to look after everyone. That's what the difference is. The 6, it goes around the circles on the bottom, right? And it rocks back and forth. So it's like the mother number. It's rocking and it's trying to take care. Where the 9 is on top and the 9's gathering everybody. Come here, come here, come here. Right? Where the 6 says come here this way, and the 9 goes come here this way. Right? And the 6 is rocking back and forth, where the 9 is just standing, saying, everybody this way.
Well, now Lois says she's a 22, but a 22 would not be like your month and your days. You want it down from a 1 to a 9, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do your day, your month, and your date, and get it down to one number, because you're like the 22 number is a different number than the year number, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're a 22 this year, well, the 2 is ruled by the moon. So you're going to be very sensitive, maybe very moody, but 2 is also partnerships and cooperating. And 2 and 2, when you add them together, is a 4. So you may be building a lot of new friendships, a lot of new relationships, or you may be working on your emotions or your cycles, because 2 is the moon. You got 2 moons there. And when you have 2 moons together in a number like 22, it's almost like a new moon, and you need somebody to help break the cycle of, because 2 is reflective, right? 2 doesn't show where 1 is. 1's the sun, and 2 is like stepping back. So you need somebody sometimes to pull you out, but you can build and build and build, but you might be awful emotional, or you might be awful sensitive. So it's like you just got to get your stuff together.
That's a 2. What is a 7?
A 7?
Yeah.
The 7 is like the FBI. They're always watching, always thinking. They can see things, but they can be very spiritual too, right? The 7 is like, I wonder about that. And they like to ask all the time to figure out for themselves. And it's an inward number, right? They hold a lot of things in because they're trying to figure out their own path, but they do have a lot of faith. It is the number of faith, and it's the number of belief.
Yeah, that's God's number, 7.
Yeah.
Okay, what about a 9?
A 9 is what we talked about.
Oh, a 9 year, Jennifer, is what she's been talking about. A 9 year.
So you're in a 2-year transition, because you're going to go from 9. So you've got all the numbers, you've got all the information for the past 9 years, whatever's going on in your life, and you can figure it out. Now you let go of what isn't positive or what isn't serving you or all that kind of stuff. You know how they talk about, all that fluffy stuff. And you're going to take within the next 2 years, and you're going to turn that 9, and it's going to come to a 1. And see how the 1 is just like that? You're going to stand there and you're going to start a new path. But it takes 2 years transition, because it's like cleaning out the closet. You take out 2 or 3 towels and you put 4 back in. So what are you letting go? And what are you putting back in for your next 9-year cycle?
So declutter is a 9-year word. Time to declutter.
Yeah.
What about a 4?
A 4 is getting your ducks in a row, making sure everything's lined up. Sometimes a 4 is like Uranus, and it can be like hidden anxiety, like hidden tension behind, because the 3 is before. So there's like a lot of movement with the 3, and then all of a sudden the 4 is like, get in the box, everybody in the box. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. It's got to be like this. And then when we come to the 5 breaks free of the box. So sometimes the 4, the nervous tension is trying to get everything lined up, getting all your ducks lined up in a row. And it is a number of work. It's going to be a lot of work this year.
Okay. That's so Sue, that was so enlightening. I don't like numbers because I'm not good at them, but that it's fascinating to me, the numerology. 100%. As of last week, something very big finished. I'm going to purge anything related to that situation. That's what and Jennifer's in a 9-year.
Oh, and then you know what, too? For that 9, January was what we're still in January. I keep thinking we're in the 1st of February because the snake. January is a 1 month. So it's new beginnings. January is new beginnings for her. Well, for everyone,
Yeah,
right? But for her personally, because she's in a 9-year. So yes, you started new beginnings. And it always starts like the end of the year before. So if you're in a 9-year, I don't know where the hell I'm looking. I'm like, am I supposed to be reading? You're like, but when you're in a 9-year, that started back last year. You know, October, November, December, that 9 years started creeping in. And now you're in January, and January is 1. So you've made the turn. You made 1 turn and you started the 1 path, and now you're going to go. And when you get down to September, you're going to feel good because you're going to let a lot of that go by the time you get to September. And if you haven't, it'll probably just fall away.
There you go, Jennifer. By September. And she said, as of last week, something very big finished. So that fell right into the numbers.
Yeah.
I'm going to purge anything related to that situation. You know when she should do that? Is the next full moon.
Oh, yeah. 14 days.
Yeah,
right?
do it in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Do it at the full moon because full moons are the time that you release stuff and get rid of it.
Oh, yeah. Even in 7 days. You know, when you get, what is that called? The first quarter? Because when you get to the first quarter moon, that's when you kind of look over what you started in the new moon. And then by the time the full moon comes in 14 days, 7 days you look over it, and 14 days you let her go.
Yeah.
So even 7 days you can start getting rid of it.
Yeah. Oh, here's Miss Denise. She's so sweet. Denise always is smiling. She's always got a smile on her face. She's just precious. Absolutely interesting collaboration and compilation. Compilation. Well, thank you. Isn't that? I think it's interesting. I think it was so interesting that Sue was working on the numbers and I was looking at the chart because of that weird date. It just stuck with me. And I think it was fascinating that it matched up like it did. It all matched up. Now I'm really curious to see what happens on March 4th.
I want to see what happens September 9th.
Yeah. What's September 9th? Oh, the 9th, the 9 and the 9 and the 9.
Yes.
That'd
be kind of neat, I think.
Did you look at the transits for September 9th?
No, because I never thought about it until I started working on this. And then, you know, by the time I go over these notes about 6 times and rearrange them, I thought, oh, I would do it after tonight. I would look it up.
Well, we got 2 seconds and I'm going to look because of AI is the best. Look, I'm asking AI what the transits are for 9/9/25. You know, look at this. Transits for 9/9/25. It's searching now. AI is. No, I need the degrees. I need the degrees. sometimes you got to tell. Okay, here we go. Jupiter has moved into Gemini. We'll have to look at these transits. Oh, it says you need to ask an astrologer. That's what AI told me. No, you're supposed to be telling me. Well, everybody, thank you so much. Sue, thank you so much for all of your wonderful wisdom. It is so interesting to hear about, get more insight because we know what the astrology is, but I think the more, even with the numbers and continuing to get more insight and even combining them, and even the tarot matched up with the numbers.
Yeah,
It's
it was fun. It's fun when you put it all together because you don't know how it's going to turn out, right?
no, you don't, and it turned out kind of scary perfectly.
Yeah, it all blended in together.
And it blended in. Well, you guys, thank you guys so much for tuning. Oh yeah, yes, yeah. Denise is right. That will be eclipse time. As wait a minute, that might be is that an eclipse?
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute. We have two eclipses in September. One's the 21st, and the other one is. Okay, let's look. Ooh, it might be around the 9th. It may be around the 9th. So we may have that the eclipses.
Oh, there it is. September 7th is a full lunar, 15 degrees of Pisces.
There you go. That's going to be fun.
It'll be a full moon. It'll be September 9, 2025.
There you go, Denise. It's hitting on the eclipse.
Yes.
A full lunar. And a lunar is when you let go.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, thank you, Denise. Oh, you're more than welcome. Thank you guys for tuning in. It was very interesting. It's so interesting.
Yes.
So interesting. Well, you guys have a great week. Next week we will have there's a case I'm working on, and I'll bring that one up next week. And we've got some updates on Delphi and Monkey, Michael, little monkey. We have a confession of where he's located. So we've got some good true crime next week. So make sure and tune in. I'm excited for the eclipses this year. I am too. I'm excited for the entire year. Very optimistic, very exciting. You know, as far as the astrology and looking ahead, I'm excited.
Yeah.
And you said the numbers are positive too, right?
Oh, yeah. Coming to that one, it's like it's got to make a change. And then we go into yellow. Like, how optimistic is that? That's going to be neat. Just coming into that shade of yellow.
Beautiful.
You know,
We'll take
it's
the
like
sun.
sunshine. Yellow is like sunshine.
We'll take the sun.
Yeah.
Laura has a question for you, Sue. Sure. If anybody else has any questions, put them in the chat before we go. But yeah, we'll take the sun anytime we can get it. The numbers look good. Out of the Pluto return, optimistic. Things are looking up. So I'm excited. It's time to be optimistic and full speed ahead with the astrology. The astrology is pretty amazing. That's what's exciting for me. It's kind of unknown, but unknown can be kind of exciting. So we'll wait for Laura's question and see what she's got to say. So you guys don't forget to tune in Sunday through Saturday on the Rift Nation Network. And we always stream live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch all week long. Different shows all week long for your enjoyment. So, like I said, next week we have a case. I've got a Montana case, actually. It's in the state of Montana. I'm going to bring that one next week, and a little bit on the Delphi murder case and a little monkey, Michael, out in Iowa. Okay, so Laura says, Sue, I took a picture tonight, and in the picture I see letters. Does that mean either my gifts is advancing or I am receiving a message?
Oh, sure, because the letters all have numbers with them too, right? Every letter has a number,
Yeah.
right? Like A and S is 1. A, J, and S is 1. B is 2. C is 3. So see, it depends on your letter. But yeah, that's good. Numbers or letters, whatever.
So what letters are they? Can you make out the letters? R, S, and O.
R, S, and O
Yeah,
is
R, S,
a
and
9, 1, and a 6. 9, 10 is a 16, 7. Well, there you go. That's at Neptune. So that would be like, think about something like the FBI and have faith. Don't have fear, have faith. Think about it. Don't be too aggressive. Just stand your ground and sit back. Think 7 is inner strength and faith.
So it's inner
Right.
strength, faith.
And faith. And the R takes the information and it's going to the future, right? R is painted or facing the future. S is the winding road. And O is no moss grows under a rolling stone, or however you say that. So you're either all in or you're all out. So keep your faith, keep your inner strength, and keep moving along, because that O is like a ball. It doesn't stop moving, but question everything that you're not sure on. How's that? Is that a good answer?
That's an excellent answer. Well, see, in Neptune, if it's Neptune, and she said, if it's Neptune, either my gift is advancing. Neptune is clairvoyance. So Neptune is psychic gifts.
Yeah.
So that's
But if there's
interesting.
other letters, like, that's fine too. Like, you just get the messages that come to you, right? So you can have like 30 other letters, but those are the 3 that you remembered. And so that's one message for you. So say 2 days from now, you think about, and you think you remember one letter. Well, that'll be a different message, within the same bunch of numbers. So it's fine. I guess tonight, that's all you needed to know was R, S, and O. And you needed to know that they have numbers with them.
Isn't that interesting? I love that. See, we get, I think so many times spirit and the universe gives us so many messages, and they might be subliminal messages, but it's like when we look for them, like you took that picture tonight, Laura, and you saw it. And I think it's so cool because sometimes we don't stop and slow down enough in our lives to look for the little tiny hidden messages. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, she was looking at her crystal ball where I saw them and took the picture.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's
Isn't
neat.
that something?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's your message with the numbers and the letters.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Well, thank you for that, Sue. Well, you guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Sue, you'll have to come back in September.
Oh, sure.
We'll do September on that 9th show. That'll be fun.
Oh,
The
yeah.
999. Oh, 999 is 666 upside down. Uh-oh.
And you know what that is?
What?
The 9th is a Tuesday night. But 666, you know how everybody says that's the devil?
Yeah.
You know, the one time in one of my books I was reading, and I think it's so good for that number. It can be the devil's on one side and the angel's on the other. You get to choose if you want the devil or the angel. You want to follow the devil or the angel. Isn't that neat?
I think that's
And
pretty cool.
the 9 can be the angel, and 6 can be the devil too, right? Because 666, 3 sixes are 18, 1 and 8 is a 9. That's where the angel is hidden.
Oh, here we go. And then to add to that, Venus has the morning star and the night star, and Lucifer is Venus, and Lucifer means the light, the giver of light.
Oh, wow.
It's Venus.
Oh, that's
Lucifer
neat,
is
eh?
connected. Lucifer is connected with Venus.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's the star. You got the morning star and the evening star. Morning star is Taurus. Evening star is Libra. Because
What's
Venus, or is
What's
it
the night star?
Libra?
Oh, okay.
And the morning star is Taurus. Venus rules Taurus and Libra.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So it's interesting. Well, you guys have a great week. Sue, and she's going to post the image on the Rift site. So we'll have to take a look at it, Sue. That's interesting. Okay, hon.
Sure.
That's so cool. Learn something new on Taurus, by the way. The morning star of Venus. Well, you guys have a super week. And I will be back next week. Sue, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your wisdom with us. It was just
You're welcome.
fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great week, everybody. Thanks so much. Talk to you all soon. Have a good night.